Welcome to Bees on Main, here in beautiful downtown Stoughton, Wisconsin. I'm Rich Morris, lead drone at BroodMInder, and I'm going to show you how to put together a W3 swivel foot kit. So you'll see we got the boards ready here. When you look at the parts, you're probably going to have extra parts because we're doing it both for the Apame hive and for wooden hives. It's easier to have one kit with a couple extra parts than to have lots of different kits. So what we'll do is start by putting on the swivel end. So this end is going to swivel. I'm going to pre-drill the holes. It's usually a good idea to do that. And we'll put this one, because it's going to swivel, right in the middle. Okay, and we have these very long 4-inch screws because we want it to be strong. Okay, and don't do that one too tightly because it is going to have to swivel. Then we'll do this end, and we'll put 2 screws. Go ahead and put this one. And the second one. Okay, so those are together. And this end can swivel a little bit so that it always sits flat. Okay, now I think what we will do, first I want to make a word of caution. The sensors, when they get mounted, will be very nice and strong. But while they're like this, it's very easy to pull too hard on this and pull it loose. So they're glued and they're pretty secure. They're plenty secure, but you want to be real careful, and you also want to be careful when you're cutting things around it so that you don't cut the wires. All the ones we've had returned have been just mechanical problems like that. I think what I will do though is first, this time, install the electronics. So in your parts kit, you'll find a couple of little smaller screws, flathead screws, and they are to mount the box, just like this. You want to mount it about in the middle here so that the wires go into that groove nicely. And then the second screw goes down in here, and it makes a really nice watertight box. There. Okay, so that's mounted. Now, all we want to do is mount the sensors. And we want to mount them 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see each one is labeled. It's not crucial that they get in the right place. It just makes it a little bit easier to debug. So I'm going to pull them out, and again, be very gentle. This is number 2. Okay. And anytime you're messing with the wires, you can pull tightly on the wire like that, but don't pull on the sensor or the electronics. This is number 1. This is number 3, goes up here, and number 4 in the back. Okay, so now we want to take our mounting feet, pull them out, and our rotating feet. So what will happen is we'll mount this, here I'll show it over here. We'll mount this And you can see this is the foot end and this is the pivot side. So it goes in like that. Okay, so what you want to do, put in the load cell like that. This guy. And the other half. And now it's all enclosed. It drops into the hole like that. So we can do that with all 4 of them. Put it in like that. And you want the white glue up so that it sits nice and flat on the bottom part when it's pushing. Again, the white glue up, the foot round part down, the second half, and in the hole, and then the third, the fourth and last one. Put that up, put that in, and close. Okay, now we want to take these screws. I think putting them in by hand is easiest. Then the screws go in like this. And keep that from falling out. So you can see the feet still wiggle really nicely. Okay, hold it in there really good. I have to say Peter did a fine job on these sensor mounts. They're becoming more universal and will be easy for everyone to use. Okay, and the last one. So look in there, see the screw hole. Okay, and you'll notice that we're putting the screws in this way so that the wires come out into this groove. You'll also notice that this has extra part cut out here, and that's so that when it tips, it won't pinch the wires. Okay, so put that there. And again, we want to be gentle with the wires. Once this is mounted in, then it's not going to be a problem. So when you cut your grooves, you're going to want to make sure they're deep enough for both the little spline that we have and the wire. So 3/8 to 1/2 inch works well with that. Now we run these wires up front and put our spline in there. And to cut the groove, you can either use a table saw and cut them all at once, or you can use a router. I think Peter, for these, used a router table because we had one. But not everyone does. Okay, now this is where I cut the other wires when I did the other one. So you want to be careful. Cut that like that. Okay, now what we can do is remove the electronics board and bring the excess wire into the box and then wind it up nicely underneath the electronics board. So we'll take this out. Again, you want to be gentle with the wires. They should come out, and then pull on the wires, not on the circuit board. And let's find that one. Pull it in. Get it in the groove. Doesn't have to be super tight, so don't overdo it. This one is there. Okay. Now this one is still very long, and that's this one. Okay, and let's get this guy straightened out. Okay, so you can see it all is very nice there. And we'll take the last piece of spline, and this one's a little loose, so I'm going to staple it in place. Okay, again, be really careful of the wires. So, since it's a little bit loose, I'll put a couple of staples here to keep it from falling out. Again, don't staple into the wires. Okay, so now we just wrap these wires up a little bit. Again, I keep using the word gentle. They are very robust, but if you start pulling hard on stuff, you're going to break it. If we are happy to fix it, you can send it back to us and we'll fix it. But it's a lot better if you don't have to do that. Okay, so those are all in there. Now I'm going to put the screws that hold the circuit board back. We really like this kit because it lets you do it in a lot of different ways. So make sure that the wires aren't in the screw holes. And there we're done. So then we can put the lid back on. If we were going to run it right now, we'd of course pull the battery tab. I'm just going to put this on loosely. And there you have it. All ready for the apiary. So you can see they go together pretty quickly. We have drilling instructions and cutting instructions in the manual, so be sure and look at that. And hope it goes well for you. And remember, every hive counts.